I've got these beautiful glass mosaic tiles from Temu that I want to use today. There's loads of different patterns and some of them are repeated. There is like a few that are the same, like that one. So I've separated off some that are all different, apart from these four that seem to make up their own little flower pattern. And I'm going to use them in this moulds and shapes tray. So I want them to go down the centre there. I've picked out 2 mica powders from Let's Resin that will match in nicely with the colours. I've got peach and cyan. So I'm going to start off with let's start off with the blue. Oopsie daisies. And I'm going to dust this round this inside rim of the tray. So just taking that all the way around. Pop a bit more on my brush there and carry that all the way around. Just making sure I go up all the edges as well on the inside and the outside. So I'll finish off doing this and then I'll see you back for the next bit. So now that's all the blue done, I'm going to go in with the peach and do the outside edge in the peach. So just taking that all the way around there. So same thing again, I'm just going to go all the way around, give it a little tidy up, and then I'll see you back for the next bit. So that's all my edges all done. So next I want to design these down onto the center of the mold here, and they do stick really well to this silicone, but obviously they want to go down like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure out some tape to the size that I need it. So about there. Let's just lay that down on there. And then I can just trim off those bits there. Actually, I won't trim them off. I'll leave them on that top bit and then they won't interfere with the mica powder. So that's those bits there. Just make sure I've got that straight. And then what I'm going to do is lay these down on top of the tape. And then once they're all in place, I can flip it over. So I'm just going to place these where I want them on here. So like that. Let's do that bottom one next. Pop that onto there. I'm just lining that up with the bottom of the tape. Pop that one there. So I'm just going to do this to all the rest of them. Right, so now I've got those all lined out how I want. Let's just take these off of there. And then hopefully I should be able to flip that over. Line that up where I want it. Let's put that there. I think it needs to come along a little bit. Right, I think that's about right there. Then I'm going to squish them down because they'll suction down onto the silicone, and then I can just peel off the tape so they'll all stay in place, hopefully. So just getting all this tape off. Right, so that's all my tape and then all down where I want them. So I'm just going to go and mix up some resin and then I'll see you back in a minute. I've mixed up some of the Let's Resin 1:1 epoxy resin, and I'm going to add to that the same colour that I used around here, which was the Let's Resin Peach mica powder. So let's pop some of that into there first of all. Fair amount, because I think I've got about 400 ml in there, and then get that mixed in. But then I want this to be more of a paste colour than a mica powder, so I'm going to add some of the Tea Expert white pigment paste. Let's drop a drop of that into there and then get that mixed in. So now that's nicely mixed in, we've got this gorgeous pastel pink colour. So let's just do away with that stirrer for a minute. And then I'm just going to slowly pour this into the mould, because I can't spray any alcohol ink in here because the powder, and I don't want these to become slippery. I'm just going to pour it really slowly down into all this channel around the outside first. And I'm just going to let it flow down and find its own way round. So down into there, all the way around, and just let it find its way into all those little areas down in between those tiles as well. So that's the outer rim done. Then I just want to go really slowly down in between all these pieces. Don't want to get any trapped bubbles down in there. So again, just taking it really slowly. Pouring it from a height. So we've got like a nice thin stream of resin going down. And then I'm just going to top up all the rest of the tray with this beautiful pink. I don't know, shock horror, I'm not using blue. So let's just get the rest of this topped up. And then I need to hope that there's enough suction holding those tiles down, which hopefully there is. Right, let's just use up the last of the resin. I'm sure this mould takes about 400. So I think I made 400. I must have made a bit more than that, because I've still got some left over. Right, so I'll find something for that last little bit, and then I'll see you back for demold. This is all cured up now, and with the leftover resin I've made a little pot and a couple of butterflies, the large one that I normally use. So let's get this one out first. Pop this one out. I think it's still a bit soft. Beautiful. And then we've got another butterfly, a smaller version of the larger one. Thank you, Tina from Pour Resin with Love, for sending me the link to this gorgeous mould. Let's have a look at this one. Oh, isn't that adorable? So cute. And next we have the little pot. So let's get this one out. Just pop that back in the right way. So there's my little pot. Beautiful. Needs a bit of trimming on the bottom there. Right, let's have a look at the tray. Let's pop this one out. See how it's looking. Right, let's just get that out the way for a minute. Right, let's have a look. Oh, that's pretty. I like that. Not one bit of resin went underneath those. I think I will still do a top coat on those though. That's so pretty. A little pot can go on there. Should I put the little butterfly on there as well? Yeah, maybe. Right, let's just add a bit of silver, I think, to these butterflies. I'm going to use a chrome marker pan and add a bit of silver to the wings. Pop a bit on there and there. Let's get a fatter pen, I think. Be easier. That's better. And then do that on the other side. So that's that one. Let's do the same with the larger one. Pop some silver on there. I tend to use silver a lot more than gold. I'm not really a lover of gold. I do like silver. Let's just do that last little bit on that side. Beautiful. And then I think with the pot, let's go round the top ring of the pot there. So that's the little pot done. Beautiful. Right, so I think I'll mix up a small amount of resin and then we'll give this a top coat. I've mixed up some of the Let's Resin 1-to-1 epoxy resin, and I'm going to add to that some of the Super Sparkle White from Tracy at Mini Scenes GB. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of that into there and then get that mixed in. And then I'm just going to do a nice thin layer straight over the top. Let's see if that's enough first of all. Let's just pick it up and let it swoosh round to all the edges. Get it on that side first. And then the same on that side. Oh, and while I'm doing this, a few people have been asking like what I've done to my finger, and thank you ever so much for your kind comments. So I've got a husky, as a lot of you already know, and she thought it would be a fun game after she found a hedgehog in the garden to have me chase around the garden for 40 minutes while she carried it around in her mouth, until the point that I slipped over and broke my finger. So, yes, little devil she is. So now not only do I have to make my garden secure so she doesn't get out, I have to make it secure so hedgehogs don't get in. Oh, and it's not the first time she's done it either. And I'm sure it's the same hedgehog. Little devil doesn't learn, he keeps coming back for more. Right, I think that needs just a little bit more. Let's pop some down in that corner and a little bit more in that corner, and then just spread that around. Right, I think that will probably be enough. Let's just get it all the way to the edges. And then we're going to give that a quick torch, pop any bubbles that might be there. I've still got a tiny bit left over, so I'll find something for that, and then I'll see you back when this is cured. This is all cured now and looking lovely. Love that, so pretty. And with the leftover resin, I've made some little butterfly earrings. So that's those there, and I've just added a bit of silver pen on the wings there. Beautiful. And I've stuck the other little butterfly onto my pot. So that's my make all finished for today. So thank you ever so much for watching my video, and stay tuned for the pictures at the end. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.
The sunlight gleaming through the pane on my little houseboat domain. Got my molds and colors right, crafting algae day and night, floating gently on the bay, watching little fishes play. But my mind's on swirls and gleam, living out a crafty dream. Got my epoxy hardener too, mix 'em up a shade of blue, pour it slow with careful hand. Let's start resin in the land. Resin magic on the houseboat, turning plastic into gold. Little trinket, shiny new, crafted just for me and you. From a simple little mold, stories waiting to unfold. Tiny flowers, leaves so green, feathers floating in between, glitter, dust, and ocean spray.